Io Silver! Away!
Alright, let's see what's on the agenda for today. Bust movie. Polish hammer. What am I supposed to be doing now? Oh! It's time for an E-Rod snack! No way! That's what I call a prize. People often ask me why I wear the mask. The truth is, it has nothing to do with hiding my identity. The mask is a symbol, because when filmmakers make movies without our consent, and the opinion of the fans are outlawed, the fans must become outlaws. Greetings, fanboys and fangirls. I'm E-Rod and I'm the Blockbuster Buster. One of the very first costumed heroes to gain mass appeal was Franz Stryker's The Lone Ranger. Originally a radio show in the 1930s, the adventures of the masked lawman and his trusty Native American sidekick, Tonto, proved so popular that in 1949 it became the first show to successfully make the transition from radio to television, becoming one of the highest rated and most popular shows of its era. Starring Clayton Moore as the Lone Ranger and Jay Silverheels as Tonto, the series followed the adventures of a former Texas Ranger, John Reed, who finds out that to fight for justice in the corrupt Old West, one must work outside the law. As a masked vigilante, a lawman without a posse, a Lone Ranger. Along with his trusty partner Tonto, a Comanche warrior who wants justice for the wrongs done to his people, together they fought to punish the corrupt and help the helpless.
Actually, even the Lone Ranger had Tonto on a horse. Right. Tonto. Horse.
When I found out that they were making a Lone Ranger movie, I was beyond excited. Especially when I found out that the film was being distributed by Disney and produced by Jerry Bruckheimer. Those are two signs that a lot of money and quality were going into the production of this film. Then suddenly, without warning, the film started to be heavily chastised by professional critics. I use quotation marks when I say that because I don't think it was very professional of them to release official published reviews of this movie 7 to 8 months before the movie was even released. And most of these reviews pretty much focus on the movie's behind-the-scenes problems. One of these major criticisms was that they were trying to pathetically recreate the success of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. This is part of the initial reviews that no one can deny. After all, this film had the same studio, the same producer, the same director, the same writers, and the same star as Pirates. But on their defense, it's not like they were hiding this fact, as all the trailers of this film blatantly stated that the film was made by the same team. Now I will admit that I did feel a bit of personal trepidation when I noticed that the actor playing Tonto had higher billing than the actor playing the titular role. But hey, like I said, the behind-the-scenes problems that this movie has had have received enough criticism from the professional critics. So I'm gonna judge this movie as it should be judged, by its content. So put on your mask and keep your drawing hands on your shooting irons as we take a look at 2013's The Lone Ranger. So our movie begins in 1933, where we find a young boy dressed as the Lone Ranger, as he attends a fair and goes into a Wild West exhibition, where he finds that an elderly Tonto, played by Johnny Depp, has been made part of the exhibition. The boy questions whether he is the real Tonto or not, and thus, Tonto begins regaling the boy with the tale of the Lone Ranger. Okay, a couple of things. Firstly, major props to the makeup effects team in this film, cause Tonto's elderly makeup looks amazing. Secondly, are they really gonna go with this framing device?
A good man must...
Hold it. What is this? Are you trying to trick me? Is this a kissing book?
And thirdly, I will admit that Tonto passing on the legend of the Lone Ranger to a young fan raises an interesting theory. What if this young fan is none other than Brett Reed? And who is Brett Reed, you might ask? the Green Hornet. You see, it is part of the Green Hornet's origin that newspaper publisher Brett Reed is inspired by his great-great-great-grandfather, John Reed, aka the Lone Ranger, to fight against organized crime as the vigilante known as the Green Hornet. Now, if that is the intent of the writers, then that is awesome! What? The IMDb page credits the little boy as Will? I'm sorry, Apophenia. Look it up. So our story begins with Tonto and the Lone Ranger, played by Armie Hammer, robbing a bank.
Ladies and gentlemen, my colleague and I will be making a withdrawal. I understand this bank is insured, so... Nobody move.
What's with the mask?
Ah, that's my assistant. Little running gag.
I guess I didn't make myself clear. This is a damn bank robbery!
Wait, they're really robbing a bank? The Lone Ranger and Tonto are good guys. They would never rob a bank.
But the Lone Ranger and Tonto were good guys. I mean, they didn't rob banks.
What he said!
Did they?
Wait, you're not going to explain this? You're just going to restart the story? I am starting to lose my patience, old man! So the movie begins, again, in 1869, in the town of Colby, where all-powerful train tycoon Latham Cole waits for a very important train. Wait a minute, that's Tom Wilkinson! Who was also in the crappy Green Hornet movie, playing Brett's dad. Coincidence? I think not! Oh, shut up. But Mr. Cole is not the only one waiting for this train, as a group of Texas Rangers led by the legendary Dan Reed wait as well. As this particular train is transporting one of the most dangerous criminals in the West, Butch Cavendish, played by William Fisher. Coincidentally, Dan's brother, John Reed, is also on the train.
Catch.
Really? They're gonna portray John Reed as a silly, comic relief, lily-livered city boy? You know what? Fuck it. I'll give it a chance. Another interesting coinkydink is that Tonto is part of the prisoner transport along with Butch, who suddenly makes a break for it thanks to a strategically placed gun. Now, one of the major criticisms this film has gotten is that they got a Caucasian actor to play the Native American Tonto. My personal feeling is that the role should go to the best actor no matter what his race is. Like, for example, Michael Clark Duncan did an incredible job as the Kingpin. And come on, it's not like Johnny Depp is gonna play the part as Jack Sparrow in a different hat with a different accent.
Ow! The hell was that for?
Bird angry.
Time has finally come, Wendigo.
I know you, Ensign.
You know me. You know me by the screams of my ancestors in the desert wind. As you will know their cries of joy when I remove your evil seed from the face of earth.
10 years you carried a pistol, now you waste your shot.
Okay. John hears the commotion and heads into the car to lend a hand, but is overtaken by Butch's men, who come to pick him up.
Lawyer to crazy engine. Bet you two got a lot to talk about.
That's great.
Is it just me or does this seem familiar? Well, it's not exactly the same. You know what? I'm just being paranoid. This is in no way a clone of Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay, there's no way nobody else noticed that. So our heroes are off to stop Butch, as Tonto wants revenge and John wants justice. But Butch's men set up the train to crash at full speed, so our heroes have no choice but to break off pursuit and save the train passengers by detaching the cars from the locomotive. While this might save the passengers, it does not stop the locomotive from crashing, with them on it!
Hey, hold it right there. I'm afraid I have to take you in.
Wait, he helped you save the passengers. Give the guy a break.
Speak English, don't you?
Oh, Lord, this is hard.
By the authority granted me by the state of Texas.
Tonto, the sidekick, just defeated the Lone Ranger, and now he's dragging him about like a namby-pamby sissy wuss. You know what? I'm still gonna give it a chance. This is the origin story. Eventually, Dan catches up with them and arrests Tonto. Later, Rebecca, Dan's wife, shows up to check on them and,
God, look at you. City boy.
is it just me, or does Rebecca seem to have a thing for John? That's awkward and weird. Dan assembles a posse to track and capture Butch Cavendish, and he deputizes John and asks him to come along. Why? He's a lawyer, not a ranger. He doesn't like to use guns, and you already saw him try, emphasis on the word try, to apprehend 2 fugitives. I guess he just feels sorry for his little brother. And thus we get to the most famous part of the story. And I have the distinct pleasure of telling you the legend of the Lone Ranger. 8 rangers entered a canyon under the blistering sun searching for outlaws. But instead, they found an ambush. 8 rangers were gunned down. 8 rangers fell to the ground. 8 rangers went into that canyon, but only 1 came back out. A Lone Ranger. Wait a minute! What is Tonto doing there? Last time we saw him, he was in jail. How did he escape?
How'd you get out of jail anyway?
Really, you don't think that this is a part of the story important enough to explain? Ugh. Yup, the Lone Ranger getting dragged through shit. No, there's no metaphor here. This is blatant symbolism. John wakes up only to find that Tonto has nursed him back to health and placed him atop a tall wooden structure. I would ask how exactly Tonto carried him up there, but I'm sure this is one of the many things in this movie that will not be explained. What Tonto does explain is that he is on a quest to get revenge on Butch Cavendish, and that the spirits told him that he would be helped on his quest by a great spirit walker, a man that cannot be killed in battle. Tonto was hoping that that spirit walker would be Dan, but the spirit horse, Silver, told him otherwise. Tonto further exposits that John should use the fact that the bad guys think that he's dead to his advantage and wear a mask. A mask that he carved out of Dan's vest, using the bullet holes as eye holes. Poetic. John reluctantly agrees to join him as the Lone Ranger, for the sake of bringing his brother's killer to justice.
Not a man. An evil spirit born in the empty spaces of the desert. With a hunger that cannot be satisfied.
Jesus Christ!
And the power to throw nature out of balance.
And while we're on the subject of distracting weird shit, the reason Tonto believes Butch to be an evil creature of myth,
My people call this spirit Wendigo.
is cause Butch has the habit of eating the flesh of his enemies. Like for example, he cut out Dan's heart and ate it. How's that for Disney family fun? think of it, that is nothing like the Marvel villain Wendigo. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. What they're referencing in this movie is an actual character from Western folklore. Well, you know what? It's still more accurate than Christopher Nolan's version of Bane.
Yes, this is the real Bane. Talking to Erod. I hear you're going around misrepresenting Bane. I don't like it. When I see you, I will break your back.
Well, bring it on, Buttercup! You ready to dance? Because I'm ready to dance!
Erod, who is that incredibly handsome fellow?
Hell if I know, but somebody should really tell him that he's only supposed to wear his headgear at night when he goes to bed. So John's first act as the Lone Ranger is to go to a whorehouse. Yeah, I'm sure this is exactly what Franz Stryker envisioned when he created the Lone Ranger in the 30s. The Lone Ranger and Tonto go into a whorehouse.
Hi, Tonto.
Ugh. Our heroes make inquiries about the ranger that betrayed them, as he apparently was a regular at this particular establishment. So they go to talk to the owner. Helena Bonham Carter! Helena Bonham Carter. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot we weren't playing Tim Burton Bingo. My bad.
Ma'am?
What's with the mask?
I know. It's just a little running gag.
Anyway, Helena plays the madam of this brothel, and her name is Red Harrington. What? Was misdirecting MacGuffin taken?
Cole is, well, he is no longer guided by the same imperatives as other men.
Is this supposed to be a joke at the expense of heterosexual men? You know, how we still find fake breasts appealing, and since this is the Wild West and women dress more conservatively, men would find a bare prosthetic leg just as appealing as a real one. Cause if that's the case, that is one elaborate joke.
Want to touch?
Not if you favor your hand.
Red decides to help them after she finds out that they are after Butch, who apparently was the one that took her leg. She warns them that Butch is part of a big conspiracy connected to the building of the railroad. Tonto agrees, since the reason Butch managed to escape was because someone planted a gun in the train for him. Suddenly, our heroes are chased out of Red's room by an angry mob trying to kill Tonto, as apparently, Comanches have been attacking the townspeople of Colby. Worried that Rebecca is one of the people attacked, Lone Ranger and Tonto hightail it to her home on Silver.
Nature is indeed out of balance.
That is extremely similar to a scene from The Legend of Zorro.
Hey, cut it out! You had enough!
You know what? It's probably one of those silly coincidences that I am usually so sensitive to. Our heroes arrive at Rebecca's home only to discover two things. One, that Rebecca and her son Danny are missing. And two, that it wasn't the Comanche attacking the people of Colby. It was Butch's men disguised as Comanche. The villains trap Lone Ranger and Tonto in the barn, and then set the barn on fire.
Texas Ranger!
What's with the mask?
Come, little running gag. Let's see if we can sell this epic to Disney.
So horsey.
Alright, I guess I'll add this to the list of crap they don't plan to explain. So our heroes escape the flaming barn and face their attackers.
Great shot.
That was supposed to be a warning shot.
In that case, not so good.
Alright, stop! I respect the fact that Ted Elliott and Terry Rossio are trying to create their own version of the Lone Ranger, where he is a tenderfoot from the city that becomes a badass lawman. But they should at least still respect the integrity of the character. And the one attribute the Lone Ranger has had in all of his different incarnations is that he is an expert marksman. He never misses, and if he does, there's generally a good reason. If he meant to fire a warning shot, then he would have fired a warning shot. Nailing the bad guys by accident like he's Inspector Clouseau or Mr. Magoo is just insulting. And don't you dare tell me that he did that ricochet bullet trick on purpose, because there's only one cowboy that can pull that off, and he is the best there is.
Mr. County. Took a big chance. If I was a hair quicker, you'd be dead.
Nah. You fired 12 shots. You're out of bullets.
Even an Indian can't track through that.
We follow horse, Kimosabe.
Kimosabe, why do you keep calling me that? What's that mean?
Wrong brother.
That is not what Kimosabe means.
Why, you Kimosabe. Kimosabe? That sounds familiar. That's right, Kimosabe. You trusty scout. Trusty scout?
So our heroes do their best to follow the villain's trail back to Butch's hideout, when they are suddenly attacked by actual Comanche.
You think you make him laugh. You are like sissy girl.
As it turns out, the reason Tonto acts nothing like an actual Comanche is because he was exiled at a young age from his tribe when he gave away the secret location of a silver mine to a couple of white men in exchange for a cheap pocket watch. The men then killed everyone in Tonto's tribe to keep the mine a secret. And the men responsible for this atrocity are none other than Latham Cole and his brother, Butch Cavendish, who we already knew was a bad guy, so it's not quite as shocking.
Comanche gesture of respect.
What's with the mask?
God damn, they love that running gag. Lone Ranger offers to help the Comanche clear their names and get their mine back, but the Comanche have had their fill of trusting white men, so they leave our heroes to die. Lone Ranger makes one of his trademark escapes with the help of Silver, and then leaves Tonto to die? No. 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 No, no, no! The Lone Ranger would never do that. He would never leave another person to die, not even one of his enemies, especially not his partner, even if he is an eccentric pain in the ass that almost got him killed repeatedly, dragged him through shit, and used his own urine to sterilize the needle he was going to use to stitch his wounds.
Is that thing sterile?
Yes. I make urine on it.
What?
You know what? I'll forgive this indiscrepancy just this once. Yeah. Eventually, Lone Ranger does pull Tonto out of the ground, but only because he doesn't know the way to the silver mine. There they ambush Butch Cavendish. But they run into a little disagreement. Lone Ranger wants to arrest Butch, while Tonto wants to kill him. Oh, come on, guys. You should have agreed what you were gonna do with him before you left the pit of scorpions.
Nature is most definitely
out of balance.
Lone Ranger gets sick of Tonto's shit, takes off his mask, knocks him out, and arrests Butch, so he can take him to the proper authorities. Unfortunately, when he gets there, he finds that Latham Cole is holding Rebecca and her son against their will. And he officially figures out that Cole is the mastermind behind everything, including the framing of the Comanche, so he could legally arrest them and build a railroad through their land to transport all the silver from the mine.
all those years ago.
Holy shit! He's better than Batman!
Seems to be about the best that we've got. Batman?
I found something.
Oh, you found some?
I found some.
You found something?
Evidence.
You found some evidence.
I found evidence.
You found some evidence over there.
Here.
Cole places John under arrest and sends him to be executed. Luckily, at that very moment, the Comanche attack the mine, and Tonto uses the distraction to save John, and they escape together. To the extreme!
What are you trying to do? Blow up the whole mountain?
Trust me, these two have a hard time staying dead.
Somewhere out there, Michael Bay orgasmed and then fainted. Sadly, all of Tonto's fellow Comanche died during the attack, and Tonto relives the worst day of his life.
Men like him represent the law. I'd rather be an outlaw.
That is why you wear the mask.
I will give the filmmakers some credit. This is one great dramatic moment.
Something very wrong with that horse.
You ruined the moment? For the sake of a stupid joke? I'll be back at 8. Wait, no. 7. I do all my busting before breakfast. So Cole and Cavendish plan to transport all the silver to San Francisco, where it can be appraised and they will be very wealthy men. The movie comes to full circle, as it is revealed that Lone Ranger and Tonto were not robbing a bank. They were raiding a vault in which Cole was hiding all the explosives for the secret mining operation. And they used said explosives to blow up the bridge and stop the train from reaching San Francisco. But wait a minute, Rebecca and her son Danny are still on the train! Wait, that is the overture of William Tell. Do you know what this means? A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty high of silver! It's the Lone Ranger, motherfucker! A woman and a little boy being taken against their will on a train. This is the climax of The Legend of Zorro. You know what? It's just a silly coincidence. You know I'm sensitive to these things. I am sure the filmmakers did not intend to rip off any of the Zorro movies.
Out of the night, when the full moon is bright, comes a horseman known as Zorro. This bold renegade carves a Z with his blade, a Z that stands for Zorro. Zorro, Zorro, the fox so cunning and free. Zorro, who makes the sign of the Z. So cunning and free. Zorro, who makes the sign of the Z. Zorro, Zorro, Zorro.
Does anybody else feel like carving C's into Terry Russio's and Ted Elliott's asses?
Wrong, brother?
Not today.
Your husband died 3 days ago! Just saying. The Rubber Barons of the West extend their thanks to the Lone Ranger and even offer to make him an official Texas Ranger. But the Lone Ranger turns them down, as his experience in the past few days has taught him that to be a true lawman in the West, he must work outside the law. Blah blah blah, he's very noble, blah blah blah, the mask stays on as a symbol of him being an outlaw. And so our movie ends with our peculiar duo riding into the sunset, taking friendly jabs at one another.
Do you know what Tonto means in Spanish?
Hi-yo, Silver! Away!
Don't ever do that again.
That's kinda funny. As long as they don't ruin it with some silly CG bullshit like every other scene in this movie. This movie's a lengthy, lonesome lavatory of loss. And guys, I really wanted to like this one. As most of you are always quick to point out, most of the movies that I review have a great deal of potential. And this is one of those examples. This movie had infinite potential. It had a good cast, great effects, great stunts, and awesome production design. The Lone Ranger and Tonto have never looked better. First of all, let's face it, this is Tonto's movie. He's on a quest and John accidentally gets taken along for the ride. Hell, Tonto is even the one to have the final confrontation with the main villain.
Bad trade.
I like the idea of making Tonto just as relevant as the Lone Ranger, but they seriously overdid it. And while I agree that Johnny Depp just played Jack Sparrow in a different hat with a different accent, he is still very entertaining and engaging as Tonto. Now, I really like Armie Hammer. He's a charismatic, appealing leading man, who I'm very confident would have played a great Lone Ranger under the right circumstances. These were not those circumstances. The John Reed in this movie is so naive and so gullible that it's a wonder he didn't die earlier in the movie. I kept waiting and waiting for him to mature into the confident hero that I remember from my childhood, but it never happens. What we get is a guy who is desperately trying to do good, but instead is ridiculed and chastised for doing so. This is all part of a trend that I detest, where apparently in popular media, there is something wrong with just being a straight-laced good guy. First the Man of Steel, and now this. I get that they established the motif that the Lone Ranger and Tonto are a lot different than the way that the general public perceives them, but sacrificing the integrity of this great iconic character was just uncalled for.
Oh, I saw. It was very American. Fire enough bullets and hope to hit the target.
See, I told you it would feel ridiculous.
And please don't ask me what the hell Helena Bonham Carter was doing in this movie, outside of being really pretty window dressing and the punchline to an overly complicated joke. Personally, I felt that this was a waste of her talents. The story is just filled with lots of unnecessary weird shit that could have been easily edited out. Namely, Butch being a cannibal, as nothing ever comes of it. Oh, and all the Zorro ripoffs were just unforgivable, especially since this film was written by two of the most condecorated writers in all of Hollywood. As far as a good version of the Lone Ranger goes, I don't feel comfortable recommending the original show, as it is a product of its time, and it hasn't aged well. I only recommend this to hardcore fans. A made-for-TV movie premiered in the WB in 2003, but it was underwhelming tripe, starring actors that were way too young to be playing the Lone Ranger and Tonto. I recommend this to no one. My absolute favorite version of the Lone Ranger is from the comic book series published by Dynamite Entertainment. If you can get your hands on these issues, give them a read, as I recommend these to everyone. The only real distinction this movie has is being one of the biggest box office bombs of 2013, which is sad, cause like I said, a great deal of effort went into this film, and in spite of its faults, I still feel that this could be salvaged in a sequel, which will more than likely never happen. I do hope that that changes with the popularity of the Disney Infinity video game, which includes Lone Ranger and Tonto as playable characters. Not only did they give them cool stylized designs, but Armie Hammer himself voiced the Lone Ranger in this game. And I love these characters so much that I hope that this paves the way for an animated series. And it has been way too long since Disney produced a serious animated show. Well, there was Tron Uprising, but that show was cancelled way too quickly. Well, you look at that. It's 7 o'clock. Salvation, damnation. They both go hand in hand. So that was one busted, thousands more to go. I'm E-Rod and I'm the...
Seriously, does nobody want to know who that incredibly handsome fellow was? Oh well, join the Legion, suckers!